We hear you say something.
1 2 1 2.
Hello.
Hello, 1 2 1 2.
Oh, it's working. We hear you again.
Testing, testing.
Yeah. See, it's working now. I told you, dude. Sometimes it's the technology, it's the wires and stuff. Because now you're coming through my headset.
Hell yeah.
See, it's just weird the way it works. And then like he needs to be here, my camera guy, because he's the one that he has his phone, so he checks to make sure they can hear us.
Hell yeah. Steven in the flesh. What's up, King?
Oh man. Yeah, dude, technology freaking sucks, dude. It sucks, dude. It's like, and I didn't do nothing. I just touched the wire, moved it a bit, and now it works.
I hear you. Right on. Hell yeah.
Or maybe it was the Bluetooth. Who knows? All right, let's get the show started. Let's get it going. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode. I'm your host, Stephen G. Gaxiola, and you are listening to the Raider and the Saint podcast. Sick of this heat, dude. It's like humid, ugly.
We give you one last chance to walk out that door right now. That's good, hot. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Because in this silver slice I have in here are 1,984 ounces of beer. Golden, delicious beer. And no one leaves here until we finish every single last drop.
And we are live. Once again, I want to thank all my listeners from around the world that tune in every week to the Raider State podcast. Thank you guys so much. Couldn't have done it without your guys' support. Today's date is September the 21st. The year is 2025. It is approximately 1:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday afternoon. And I got a special guest. If you're watching live, you will see my good friend Anthony J. Or J. Anthony is with us today. Let's give him a round of applause. There he goes. I know. I gotta label the buttons, and I can't even see you. I gotta get another display right here and have the YouTube live so I can see your face. Because if I reverse the camera, then everything's gonna be backwards. The sign behind me will be backwards. What would I do this one? Yeah, folks. He's with us again. He's been with us a few times already. I forgot what episodes. I should have looked that up. Before we get to the show, info about the podcast. If you want to be a guest, you got comments, suggestions, questions. Or if you just want to say what's up, you can get a homie at the Raider and Saint at outlook.com. That is the Raider and Saint at outlook.com. Also, you could go on the website, the Raider and Saint.com. That is the Raider and Saint.com. And I will take you to my link tree, and my link tree has all my social medias and all the other good stuff, YouTube and stuff. So you can get a hold of me that way. Other than that, J. Anthony, I'm going to try to say your last name because I forgot to say it. Is it DePice?
DePice.
DePice. Oh my God. Yeah, I apologize. I was like, wait, should I call him back? That's DePice. Like the beach. What is going on, man? It's been a while. I know we have that group text on Instagram.
Yeah.
But that thing goes strong every day. It's just nonstop. I was like, dude, because like I have an Apple Watch now, and like whenever someone sends me a message on Instagram, it's always, and it was going off all the time. I go, dude, I gotta put quiet mode over here. Not to be rude, you know what I mean?
You got to do that. No, you got to do that.
Because there's two of them. There's one that's a beer one. We talk about beer. And then there's the other one that talks about organizing.
Yep. You got it.
And, man, you guys go crazy, which is good. I mean, you need people like that, that are getting, but man, At least it's not in the middle of the night, you know. It's not in the middle of the night. It's just during the day. It's not like it's
I'm
going
glad
off at 3 a.m.
you're being good to yourself, brother. Yeah, you can't be over stimulated by that shit. It's too much. I get it.
Yeah, when all that happened, with like when anything big happens, dude, I'm like my buddy who helps me on the show, he says he laughs because I call myself an investigative journalist, and I go, dude, I have to make sure I give you guys the right information. I can't just regurgitate what I see, and I go, that's why I follow the left, the right, the middle. I follow everything, and I look at every aspect of what people are saying and what people are doing, and like to get the sense of like, okay, well, there's got to be. There's the truth's in there. You just got to find it. Because if I were to regurgitate some things, which I've have it in the past on social media, I'd be like, fuck. You know what I mean? I was too quick to post it. I should have did better research because I was wrong of what I posted or something, So
that's real.
You gotta do your you don't want to be the first one. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the first. And that's what a lot of these guys that have big followings, they'll be the first to report. And it's like, dude, you were wrong. There's some people that are on the left, some people are on the right. When I watch their posts, I'm like, dude, you're totally wrong. But you just wanted to be the first one to fucking post and give your 2 cents. And it's crazy. I've actually hit up a lot of these people that have big followings, and they'll do a quick 5-minute, explanation or their opinion. And I'm like, hey, dude, I kind of like your opinion. Would you like to come on the show and do a long format? And you see them read it, and then they won't ever respond, dude. I'm like, all right, you'll just stick to your social media. I'm like, dude, if you're really about making change and you're really about doing that, then shit. If I got offered to come on a show, I'd be like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, man? What's been going on with you?
Oh my God, a lot. I mean, we there's a range that you and I got into briefly beforehand in terms of just like fucking, basic stuff like the AC going out in our house or whatever. But then there's, more serious shit like the ICE kidnappings that have been plaguing the IE, and that my job, the Warehouse Worker Resource Center, has been helping to fight in a lot of different ways. So yeah, it's a spectrum, man. But one thing I will say too is that I am really leaning into this like swolitariat or whatever thing. Like I've got another chat for like folks that are kind of like into healthy, living and so on. And irrespective of like if folks have disabilities or whatever, not like putting some type of like body as like the ideal, but just having that kind of like community. It's been really dope for me, and my wife's really into that like healthy, kind of thing. So that's been a fun journey. I haven't been drinking for the past couple months, so that's a little, like,
really
personal shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, what made you stop? Get to what was your reason for stopping?
Well, I just love a challenge. My wife's really into the training stuff. Like she does the not CrossFit, but the high intensity interval training every morning, and we're up by 3:45. We're both going to the gym and whatnot. And so, I just wasn't getting the returns, I would say, that I wanted for the amount of like fucking energy and everything that I was investing. And so when she floated the idea of doing like 3 months sober, I was like, let's go, and it's really been helpful for me. But like I said, I know not everybody can do that, and it's definitely not like a judgment, but I like, feeling stronger and just again, especially in community, with folks like y'all that are just supportive and uplifting, because I know that that's a theme of your show, like that kind of self-improvement. You have a lot of folks on that deal with that stuff. So
yeah, I've struggled with it. I struggle with it. I'll go I'll go a couple weeks, and then something traumatic will happen in my life. We just had one happen on Friday. One of our cats tragically passed away, and I don't want to go into details, but I wasn't drinking, and the first thing I did was I had to go get a beer, and I didn't even drink it. I just took a swig. It was the next day when I woke up. I was like, I'm gonna go grab a beer. But when you do, you do feel a lot better. Beer is alcohol is the number one killer, I would say, in the world. It's poison, and It's the worst thing for you, but yet it's legal, and you can get it at every corner of the neighborhoods. You know,
that's right. That's right.
It's crazy, but yeah, and that's not by accident. You know, that'll kill you. Cigarettes will kill you.
Yeah.
But man, and it's legal, and then they want to give us a hard time for fucking marijuana. Like I don't think I've heard of anybody overdosing off of marijuana or smoking too much marijuana where they die.
We got a good comment from a comrade. They said that Israel's the #1 killer.
Yeah.
That's real too.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. Trust me, we gotta talk.
I'm laughing.
We're gonna talk about that.
But no, I appreciate them tuning in. They commented as well about like
for sure,
sending solidarity. So thanks for being here, Pauly, Ria.
Yeah, we could talk about that, dude. That I just when you came on a couple years ago, and you were already pro-Palestine, and I it's been going on for a very long time. You know, the genocide, and now it's just seemed to ramp up.
Yep.
And it's horrible what's going on, but yet we seem to other people like me and you care, but majority of people just don't care.
Yeah.
And then if you do, you're anti-Semitic.
That's right.
And it's not that, dude. It's like, hey, there's kids. This is one thing. When people were pro-choice, and then people, the right wingers, they're pro-life, right? If you're so pro-life, then why don't you care about what's going on to the kids in Gaza? It's like as soon as these kids are born, like, you fought for, you can't abort the babies, you did. And then as soon as they're born, like, fuck those kids. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we want to give school vouchers for the kids so they can get free lunches and clothes. They can't afford it now. Fuck those kids. Yep. It's like, if you're going to be pro-life, then you got to be pro-life for these kids throughout their childhood, not just, you're doing, I don't know. It's just, it's just the way people think, dude. It's just,
hell yeah. I'm laid it out.
I'm pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice.
Yep. So many of so many of these fucking guys, like in that claim Christianity. Like, we were just watching the new Shiny Happy People season last night, wifey and I, and like, so many of these fucking Christo fascists don't care about their neighbors, don't even care about themselves, like in terms of living wages and housing costs and just all the like issues that are plaguing them. They're just licking boots, and screaming about trans folks and Palestinians, and it's like, just pathetic. Like, they need to open their eyes to the fact that the same billionaires that are doing the genocide are the ones not paying them enough to keep food on the table for their kids, and just like making their quality of life shit. So I appreciate you.
I said it last week. I go, they want us to look left to right when we shouldn't be looking left to right. We should be looking up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because they're looking down.
Exactly.
And they're the easiest. The oldest trick in the book is to divide, and conquer. And they got us fighting against each other, which is stupid.
Yep. They use the culture war stuff to distract us from organizing in terms of against class, against the billionaires, against the people, the bosses, and it's sad that, like, the idea that just kind of obedience and like submitting to your boss, submitting to your landlord and so on is seen as like in some way tough or strong or like noble, and it's it's kind of a whole warped idea of masculinity or like power or strength, because it's like nothing could be more pathetic than you just saying, yes sir, please steal all my fucking money via rent and cost of living and the inflation that Trump promised to fight. He ran on an economic platform that he just doesn't deliver on, and he distracts us with the so-called immigrant crisis and trans crisis. And it's like, dude, you promised people you were going to improve their quality of life. You're not, you know what I mean? So like, like you said, it's not about right or left. It's just about working families, working people, and the billionaires that are screwing us over, man.
Yeah, they're doing a number on us, and then it doesn't help that we got a president that's just, he has caused more division than anything else. And to sit there,
he's an expert,
and he's an expert at everything, like Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un supposedly he could talk to the dolphins, and he makes rockets and shit. go to outer space. You know, have you heard that one? He taught he could communicate with the dolphins. He could talk to the dolphins.
Who said that? Trump?
That's one of that. No, not Trump. Kim Jong. Somebody, about himself.
Yeah, Trump.
I think there was a picture of him riding a dolphin or something. But yeah, Trump says he's the best. I'm the best at everything. I'm like, dude, do you hear yourself talking? No, and then people love that shit. They eat it up. They're like, oh, fuck yeah, Trump. Yeah. Well, I'm like, dude, do you hear
they need a distraction, man. You know, it's just like the alcohol, like we were just talking about. It's like shit is tough. There is reality that, you know, we're all facing in different degrees. Like you shared about something that happened in your life, you know, and like the reality is that we're, as working people, we're constantly just, you know, overworked, underpaid, overwhelmed, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And and they fucking, the billionaires know that shit. And so whether it's alcohol or it's, you know, drama or whatever, their culture war, you know, stuff, like they're experts at just keeping us, like you keep saying, divided and against each other instead of against them. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's some crazy times we live in, dude. He's man, it's like you think he can't top himself, and then next thing you know, there comes another speech, and he's talking shit on Biden, you know, talking about his cancer, basically saying fuck you, you know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Did you yeah, it was crazy. Like how do you say you're a Christian but yet you're promoting hate?
Yeah, amen.
You know, that's you talk about you got people talking about the immigrants and this and that, and then you go back to your church and you praise God, like, dude, there's something wrong here. Like, didn't they preach to love your neighbor?
Right.
You know, we're over there. They need to go back. They need to go back where they don't, dude. They have every right to be here too.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, this is our land. This isn't your land, dude. Come on, and dude.
We fucking, like, you and I talk about, you know, the impact of like American imperialism or whatever you want to call it, military intervention, and like, you know, we fucking caused a lot of the problems that people are fleeing. Let's be real. It's not like, you know, we didn't have anything to do with the crises, you know, that
was it Venezuela? Were we down there in Venezuela?
All the fucking time. We're there this week doing, you know, fucking attacks on I don't know exactly who, I'd have to, you know, pull it up, but like, yeah, there was just another operation, another, you know, spec ops attack on them, and it's just, it's pathetic, like you're saying, that they're trying to get us to hate our immigrant neighbors, especially when they're waving the flag of Christianity. Yeah, it's just, you know, tell me you're a Klan member without fucking telling me, like, you know, that you don't actually believe in anything real about the faith, anything noble or pure or whatever. Because, you know, I claim Christianity. I'm a Catholic, and I'm also, you know, an organizer, an activist, whatever. You know, I don't give a fuck. I'm not precious about like socialism or communism or whatever. I just care about, like we've been talking about, you know, and like we've done before, working people getting theirs instead of the billionaires screwing us. And it just so happens that those same fucking billionaires are the ones doing, you know, the exploitation, not just here, but around the world. So, you know, it lends itself to these broader movements. But the reality is just that, like, we need to organize ourselves as working people. And so I appreciate, you know, getting to dive into some of that stuff, especially the Christian stuff, because it's just like, like I said, I was just watching that Shiny Happy People show, you know, and they're exposing.
Where is that on? Where's that on?
That's on Amazon, unfortunately. So
okay,
I can't say pirate it, but find a different way to stream it than by paying bozos, I guess. But yeah,
I think there's one called 123 Movies.
Okay, there you go.
There's a couple out there. Yeah, I use some of them.
I was trying to watch my words, but yeah, no, I just
we got to be careful now because Israel donated 25 billion or million.
Yeah. No, I think
to YouTube.
Yeah.
And then they already started taking a couple of Charlie Kirk's episodes down. I think one when he was on Patrick Beverly's show, they took that one down where he starts talking about Israel.
Damn, yeah. Did you listen to that stuff with Candace Owen? Because I listened to Hassan and he was playing that whole Candace Owens, that whole episode where she was, you know, implying that Israel had something to do with Charlie's assassination.
Oh, Charlie Kirk. Well, I know before he passed, he started getting vocal about it.
Yeah.
You know, like people were telling
that Tucker and Candace started.
But like we're got to say, hey, the kids, and I don't want to hear, oh, the homos, they use them as shields, really. So the homos are walking around with their kids strapped to their fucking their self, dude, or they got kids walking next to them. If the bomb comes, they're gonna put the kid in front of them. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's bullshit. And
I'm sure there might have been an instance here and there.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's just every life is precious, dude. Every life, dude, and we just sitting there just bombing the shit out of them, dude. There was a video of a kid. He was carrying his little brother on his back, and the big brother was just crying. And the other baby was crying. I didn't know if it was AI, because I guess that's a big thing now. AI, it's AI. It's like you could kind of tell if it's AI because it looks a little bit cartoonish,
right?
Like if you go on Instagram and you'll see.
But I mean, like even all the like human rights orgs have officially come around to the reality that it's a genocide, and so there's really no, like, whether or not one individual video or whatever, that's a talking point by Israel. That's a talking point by the Zionist, influencers and army that are just constantly discrediting the suffering that Israel is inflicting. And so, that's real, that there's a lot of AI, and that's a whole topic in and of itself that we can dive into. But that idea that the overwhelming majority or even a substantial portion of the atrocities that we're seeing are AI is just, I'm sorry, but it's bullshit, man. Like, the reality is just there in front of us. Like, they've killed 200 journalists, I think now. It's more than all the world wars combined. It was some crazy, I'd have to dig it back up, but something like that, where it just blows any other historical conflict out of the water in terms of how many folks Israel has strategically just wiped out, that we're documenting what's going on. So it's and there are brave Palestinians, for the most part, civilians, so to speak, journalists that are the majority of that number, in addition to folks from AP, or other outlets that are finally not trying to do this both sides bullshit. It's your literal workers, your literal journalists are getting fucking killed, and there's still these outlets like CNN or whatever are still being well, it's complicated, and like you're saying about the shields and just these gross mischaracterizations, I would say.
So what's their plan, you think? They just want to wipe? I heard they want to just wipe them all out.
Israel? Yeah, they said it.
Yeah, they did. They're done. Satan, they're wiping their whole race out.
Yeah,
that's crazy, right?
I laugh as a cope, just to be clear, but it's but it's Satan Yahoo, is very clear about is very clear about their plans, and Trump is excited about the beachfront property that will be available when the 2.1 million Palestinians that are captive in their own land, when they are annihilated or forced to be removed, and like you acknowledged, we're towards the end stages, but people are still fighting for their lives. They're still humanitarians. I don't know if you've heard about the Sumud flotilla, but it's pretty exciting, brother. There's 40 something ships or boats or whatever that have come together from about 50 different countries, folks bringing aid, folks and I don't know, did you hear about the last one with Chris Smalls, the Amazon labor organizer?
Yeah.
Because that, I followed that, I streamed that, when Israel took that aid boat with baby formula and food and whatnot, and they had fucking commandos on there with the pew-pews. I don't know if we could say the other thing, but it was fucking insane. And then they beat the shit out of Chris Smalls. And
they did.
They had him in the terrorist level or whatever confinement, like they did with Greta, or they're planning to do with her next time. And so I mean, it's going to be a lot harder because now we've got 16 countries that have pledged support from around the world to protect the flotilla. But in the next day or two, brother, they are going to reach Gaza, and Israel is going to attempt. And it's interesting on a military level because Israel doesn't have a strong navy at all, or really any kind of a navy. And so, it is going to be that they're spread very thin in trying to attack these quote unquote, combatants, as they're referring to them, or these selfie, activists or whatever, as Israel's demeaning them. But it's pretty encouraging. And just like you said, it was months ago that we last spoke, and the tide was already rising, but but I would say globally it's really turned, and even just in America, and like we're talking about, even the conservative, creators realizing that it's something that they have to, speak to, whether that's, sincerely or
Mm-hmm.
pragmatically. Obviously it doesn't fucking matter to Palestinians and allies,
Mm-hmm.
because we need to get the message out, and so like, yeah, I've been happy to hear Tucker and Candace Owens and others speaking out, and I hope that Charlie was sincerely moving in that direction as Candace implied, but I don't know that that's the case. Either way, obviously, we're not condoning that kind of violence. But I think we should probably get into it a little bit, just because we both have family. I know I won't like speak too much to it, but that like
Mm-hmm.
want us to be like shedding tears for him, and I don't know if like you have people in your circles, like just in terms of friends and whatnot, that maybe are feeling that way too, and like I don't know. I know we talked about this before a little bit, but like I'm
Let's
not gonna shed
see.
any fucking tears for that guy.
Yeah, he I've had some people say some pretty tough things about, some people said, you you live by the sword, you die by the sword, or
Mm,
he pissed
yeah.
off a lot of people,
Right.
like
Right.
a lot of people agreed with you, and a lot of
Right.
people, he pissed off a lot of people.
Right.
Me personally, I
Yeah.
followed him on I like I said, I follow left to
Sure.
right, the middle. I
Mm-hmm.
follow everything. I like
Mm-hmm.
to look
Yeah.
at everything.
Mm-hmm.
And on Twitter, he rage baited a lot. There was
Mm,
times I'd read something he would say.
mm,
He would just say it out of nowhere, and I'm like, dude, you're rage baiting, dude. Like he
mm,
would say
mm,
stuff to piss you off.
mm.
So
Yeah.
he did that, and then
Yeah.
and on his shows, I didn't really watch too much of his shows.
Sure. Sure.
But a lot of the clips that I seen, they weren't AI.
Mm-hmm.
You could go on and listen to his shows,
Mm-hmm.
and he said a lot of things about black people.
Yeah.
I have my notes
Yep.
right here that I
Yep.
took down. He talked about uh, DEI.
Mm-hmm.
He talked
Mm-hmm.
about who he
Yeah.
said. Let me look.
Yeah. Take your time.
Yeah, I know he talked about Michelle Obama. I was just had that in my notes.
Oh yeah. There's no
Um,
opportunity or whatever that a black woman has ever gotten that wasn't because it was stolen. Basically, I'm summarizing, and I know I'll get some shit, but like, yeah.
or it is. In the episode of July 2023 episode of the Charlie Cook Show, Kirk targeted 4 prominent black women: Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Ketanji Brown. Katanya Brown Jackson, saying that they do not have the brain processing power to be
Mm,
taken seriously, and
mm,
had to steal a white person's slot to gain prominence.
mm.
Um, yeah, he said that. I mean, he would say a lot of things online. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
you're pissing people off, dude. I'd be
Yeah.
like you just can't say certain things, and
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, you can't, as a Christian, dude, like someone who was born and raised a Christian,
Right.
you can't. It's about love and love your
Amen.
neighbor, and,
Yeah.
and spread of love, not hate,
Yep.
not this type of
Yeah.
shit, dude. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
garbage.
Mm-hmm.
To say they have no brain capacity, dude, like that's, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I know Michelle Obama's a very smart woman.
Right.
For the other women, I'm assuming they're smart as well.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, he talked about the
Mhm.
Civil Rights Act of
The Civil Rights
1964
Act,
was
yeah.
a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It disrupted social norms without addressing root issues, and like, oh man.
Yeah, it's just kind of silly on its face, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm
Okay.
sure there's a lot more.
Like you
These
said,
are just certain things that
it's
I,
rage
yeah.
bait. Yeah, but he built a career. He was set on a track. Like Hassan talked a lot about it, obviously, as another like creator who was set to debate him actually in the next week or two. And like, he was from like 18 years old. He was on this path, and you and I talk about this, and it's like I was on that fucking path. To a greater or lesser extent, you were on that path growing up, and it's like it's a miracle that anybody is able to get out of like your like you keep saying, this binary of the left right bullshit culture war stuff, and actually is able to learn about Israel, learn about America's impact on other countries, and the way that it's hurting us as just working folks. And so, like, that's a big part of like why I'm here, and why I appreciate your model, is because it's like folks who are libertarian or independent or whatever. It's like they do need to hear the truth. They do need to hear that there's that there's more that needs to be understood or learned or whatever the fuck, empathize with. And yeah, people like Charlie that demonize the idea of understanding or relating better to our neighbors and whatnot. Yeah, not only is it not Christian, it's just downright inhumane in a sense, because it's like, at the very least, you need to fucking tolerate and get along with people around you, if only for your own well-being, if only so you can better, get by.
You can sleep better at night.
Yeah, and take care of like your own, interests or whatever. Like, why do you need to exist, like you're saying, in that like rage space or whatever? Obviously, it was, a fiscal motivation more than anything for somebody like Charlie, because he was backed, he was supported by, institutions that have a vested interest. And again, this goes back to the shiny epic people thing, but like these billionaires that have a vested interest in the culture war stuff, in that kind of hate speech and whatnot, because it helps distract from the organizing that needs to be happening, the economic justice that needs to be happening, which is more of the issue when it comes to like racial justice and all these things, is that people can't afford to fucking get by or put food on the table for their kids. And so it's like, that's like when I was talking to Teamsters a couple of years back, work organizers at like the food, no, it was not Food for Less, what is it called, the other one, damn it,
Jack's.
but like they were saying, no, it was like shop smart shop, I don't remember the exact brand, but
Shop Smart.
Yeah, it's in LA. Our brother Will Pena could tell me for sure, Teamster comrade. But yeah, it was a couple years ago, but it just struck me, there were like young dudes with families that were just saying like, we're just trying to get a little bit more to be able to feed. Like, they were showing me pictures of their kids and shit, and it was just like so humbling, and it just shows like the level of greed and whatnot. But yeah, the reason why people like Charlie, I would say, to bring it home, had such prominence or do, is because there's a vested interest by the bosses, by the billionaires, to keep us, going after each other over, just nonsense, as opposed to coming together and being like, no. And you brought up the immigrant, justice issue, and it's like, those folks could be workers in our unions. They could be, they are workers, but they could be, members of our unions, and they could be helping us in the fight. But instead, we're, supposed to see them as, the scapegoat. They're the ones stealing, from hardworking Americans. And it's like, no, motherfucker, Trump and his billionaire buddies are the ones doing that shit. And like, he's just waging all this, culture war bullshit, all this like, shut down Jimmy Kimmel stuff, so that we don't say that, and then shut down the factory, shut down the warehouse to improve conditions.
It's just with Jimmy Kimmel. What do you think about that? That's wild.
Yeah, right. No, we just
listen, I started this podcast because I was a conspiracy theorist. I became a hardcore right winger in 2008 when the economy crashed. I blamed the government.
That's real.
I moved over here with my mother-in-law, to help out. And my neighbor, I went to high school with him. He was a doomsday prepper. Shout out to my boy Jay Nix. He ended up moving to Arizona, and now he's in the middle of Texas. Living the country life. And he would, we would get together after work, and he would show me, I got into guns. I mean, I could build my AR blindfolded. I learned a lot about guns and conspiracies and knives. And when we'd practice knife throwing, nunchucks, you name it, dude. We had all the katana swords. We had all the knives, and we, ninja stars, and we tried everything. We were there. Yeah, we did all kinds. We'd go shooting. It was good times. So I started my podcast maybe a couple years after. I started like 2019. So maybe like 10 years from 2008. So like 10 years of being right winger. it opened my eyes. And then once I got into podcasting and I started getting union members on, and I started learning more about union, and I realized, wait, the Republicans, they don't support union? They're like, no. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I started researching and Donald Trump, and I started,
I
always thought, oh, that's the guy that's on TV, that was on the TV station. Right. Then he started learning that he burned a lot of union workers out of pay. They would build buildings, and then he would go, I ain't paying you, fuck you, sue me. And then companies couldn't afford to sue him because he just had these high paid lawyers on deck, dude, and they would just crush businesses, union businesses. And and that kind of, I was like, wait, what? And then you would hear him, talking about women, degrading women, and he was cheating on his wife with some porn star. We know that's true. Yep. Then you got him on recording talking about, I grabbed her by the pussy. And then you have him getting interviewed. I don't know if it was Howard Stern, one of the shows he was on. He was like, if Ivanka wasn't my daughter, I'd marry her, or she'd be my girlfriend. Like, what kind of shit is that? You look at my daughter, she's hot. She wasn't my daughter, I don't know what he said. I want to put words in his mouth, but we know where he was getting at. And like how, and then he calls himself a Christian, and then they ask him, what's your favorite scripture in the Bible? And he says, all of them. I couldn't believe it.
And the Epstein shit. I mean, come on now. Like, speaking of his track record, like, his good friend,
his good old buddy. The day Charlie Kirk got shot.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
The day Charlie Kirk got shot, they had voted in the Senate. Was the Senate or the House? They voted to not release the file. So what's the big deal if the people that were victimized want it to come out?
That's right.
They want to get these people, and they go, "Oh no, we got to protect." You really care about the victims, really, but you don't care about the children in Gaza. You know what I mean? You don't care about the starving kids.
And the victims are saying, "Fuck that." The victims are saying they're going to release their own fucking list.
Yeah.
But Kimmel
just release what you. Yeah, but
Kimmel.
Kimmel. Let's put Kimmel has said some way harsher shit than what he did the other day, dude. He was being nice.
He was behaving himself. That's right. I agree.
Have you seen the South Park episodes? This new season? Have you seen them? Oh, dude, they're so funny, dude. And I know, and I realize Trump doesn't like to be criticized. He doesn't like to be talked about. He just wants to be praised. No. Oh, dude, I'm sure I heard he was pissed. He's livid. Making fun of his small, making fun of him. Oh, dude, they're crushing him.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I know, Charlie Kirk, they did Cartman dressed up as what's his name, Charlie Kirk. Like Charlie Kirk.
Oh, I didn't even watch that one.
He wasn't. Yeah, almost both.
I saw
the baby. Yeah,
a new one.
No, I think they didn't post a new one because they wanted to wait. I don't know if because they want to add or whatever they want to do. But I mean, even Charlie Kirk took it. He laughed at it. You know what I mean? Like, at some time, and that's one thing I liked about him. Like, he was at least a good sport.
Yeah.
Like, if someone made fun of me, dude, I'm gonna laugh too. Like, I have to laugh at myself. Right? I make fun of myself all the time. You got to be able to have some type of sense of humor. But that show, man, they crushed Trump, dude, and he gets pissed. I know he gets pissed. So I wonder if this is the next question. Think he's going to get South Park taken down?
I think he could try. I mean, what's going on with the Kimmel thing? Like, I think that he's already back, or there was some kind of change, right? With all the protests and whatever else. I don't know. Disney lost $3 billion, I know, since they
that's why I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if maybe if it's stock, maybe if it's in stock.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't, just like I don't cry for Charlie, I don't cry for Kimmel or Colbert or South Park. It's like, if they do get some heat, they have those lawyers that Trump has. They have those fancy, expensive guys that are, and let's be real, they have cultural momentum. Like, nobody was fucking boycotting Disney because of their role in the genocide, their complicity in the genocide. But all of a sudden, we've got just mass cancellations of Disney Plus, which is what I was alluding to with the $3 billion figure. And it's like, these people like South Park and these institutions, these cultural institutions have so much momentum Like, I welcome it. I'm fucking like Hassan said, I'm not a Kimmel guy, but I'm 10 toes down for him or anybody that comes in Trump's crosshairs, because you brought up the Kim Jong-un thing, and I think that that's apt, because it's like, our dear leader, our whatever fearless leader Trump, it's just like, ultimately that's how fascists are, right? It's just all of it. It's the cult of personality. Like, we all learned that in school about how that Hitler was like that, or Stalin, or whoever, and like, so ultimately, it is just about his fucking ego, and like you said, his tiny dick, and like and whoever points that shit out is gonna get some heat. But I'm like, hell yeah, these fucking comfortable ass libs that have been making all this money for decades. It's like, no, you can put some skin in the game. You can show up for the broad coalition of people, just any kind of marginalized queer folks, immigrants, all the people that are being targeted materially by the Trump administration. No, we need more celebrities. We need more creators to come in between and take more of that heat and stand up to him and get folks more angry, because they thrive on, like, the businesses, right? They're just pretending that we're not in a fucking fascist takeover, that we're not in a situation where the Constitution is not being respected, where there's just kidnappings based on folks looking Latino, speaking Spanish in a Home Depot parking lot, whatever. It's like the Supreme Court's on Trump's side. All this, he has so much fucking momentum that, like, the least that the creators of South Park can do is what they're doing, and I applaud them for it. I fucking love it. It's hilarious. But like, no, I welcome them getting targeted, if only because it's going to help us mobilize people more and get working people unified and not distracted, like we've been talking about, man.
Yeah, what do you think about, let's talk about the Teamsters president right now.
Oh yeah,
with everything that happened with the NLRB.
Yeah. Oh, you saw that in Texas? Oh my God, that was brutal.
Tell the listeners.
Well, just that Musk won the so Musk and Starbucks, Amazon, a bunch of companies have been suing to basically make unions illegal. It sounds dramatic, but to abolish the National Labor Relations Board, which certifies unions as legal. Obviously, you and I know the union is workers coming together. It doesn't fucking matter if we have a piece of paper or not, but it does help sometimes. It also hinders sometimes to have legal recognition, because then you have unions that are business friendly and that don't want to take on fights and have strike clauses and so on. But the reality is that recently, they got a win in the Texas court system or whatever, where this case has been kicked after a couple years of trying to make the NLRB illegal. Basically, it's going to take time, but it's just another hit, because the reality is that labor law is stacked in the favor of the employers. And like I alluded to, it takes forever. Like, we just had a win with some Amazon workers, and it took 3 years for the company to settle or do anything. I don't know what I can get into specifically, but it's like, it takes a fucking long time for people like you or I to get anything in terms of like restitution for being wronged by our bosses. And so they're just trying to make it that much harder, and they're trying to make, unions that much less powerful. And like you pointed to, Trump is no friend to unions. And I was going to bring up Sean O'Brien, because it's like, he can schmooze all he wants, and he can pretend that like I'm saying Trump with Sean, but the reality is what you pointed out, that when push comes to shove, he guts protections for workers. He turns his back on working people, just like he's doing, right? Because the reality is, he promised economic justice or economic, improvement, affordability. He ran on a Zoran Mamdani, ticket. And the reality is, he's not doing any of that shit. And so he's going to keep, going after South Park and whoever the hell else, so that he can keep us distracted and not realizing that that's his MO. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at with the Supreme Court case, is just that it's another example of how, Trump and his billionaire buddies are trying to weaken labor, weaken working people, in spite of their rhetoric.
Do you think Sean knows that, and that's why he's just,
I think he's
laying low?
I think he's a grifter like Charlie Kirk was. I think he doesn't give a fuck. I think he's and that's a problem with the with SEIU, with UAW, with all of these. I'm not just going to put it on Sean. Sean's a racist. Sean's like a mean, spirited dude in this, way that we're talking about some of these conservative, pundits. But it's like, he's not doing much more than a lot of these leadership folks at the big unions are doing, where they have a war chest, brother, of billions of dollars. It's literally like what 2.3 billion, I think it is, that the major unions have, and less than 1% of that annually goes to new organizing. Like Chris Smalls was saying that years ago. And it's like a lot of these union leaders give credence to the union busting rhetoric that unions are not, doing enough for working people. And they are, in some ways complicit in the exploitation. And so it's like, my answer to that though is not, oh, fuck unions, or, fuck the 2 million or 2 million, whatever, Teamster members, the hardworking good folks. No, the reality is we need Teamsters mobilized. We need the rank and file, reform caucus organizing, the radical, organizing that we've lost, but that brought us the 8-hour day and the 5-day week, that gave us, the small protections that we have as working people. They were hard won, fucking struggles, like sometimes through violence, right? If you go back to like Blair Mountain and everything, sometimes you literally had, open collaboration between. And it sounds funny that I'm saying it because there's still open collaboration between the police and the bosses or employers who are regularly breaking strikes that way, arresting folks and so on. But it's like it was even more heightened. And so yeah, fuck Sean O'Brien, but also like I'm done with business friendly unionism. I'm done with like, UAW, I think this week finally said, that there's a genocide and that they're gonna, be taking more meaningful action. But it's like there are UAW members on the Sumud flotilla, bringing aid, bringing baby formula, like I said, to Gaza. So it's like we need bold men and women and icons of every, gender to be taking action together and saying fuck our union leadership in most cases, because they're comfortable, they are cozy with the employers, and it's just disgusting. And so I'm sorry to go on a bit of a thing there, but I'm just fucking sick of this whole like, oh well, Sean O'Brien's the only bad faith actor or whatever in our union realm. It's like, no, you have fucking UFCW, showing up for Kamala, showing up for these people that have not done anything for working people and have no plans to, and it's bullshit. Like it's both parties, and they are very cozy with union leadership broadly. And yeah, Sean is the bad guy because he's a racist and leaning into the hate stuff. But like the reality is that you have leadership in most major unions that is comfortable with the Democratic Party, with the Republican Party, with the status quo that is not working for people like you and I. That is untenable, that we cannot survive or feed our selves and families with. So yeah. No.
What I gotta ask you, what makes you give me an example of what makes you think Sean is racist?
Well, I mean, I don't have the lines in front of me, so you can push back on that, but I'm like,
no, well, yeah, I'm trying to think.
Convention, if he's hanging out with Trump, if he's hanging out with Charlie Kirk, he's not a good dude for me. And so like, yeah, sure, maybe he's not explicitly saying the things that like you quoted Charlie having said, but like the reality is he's not looking out for the interests of his members that are people of color who need stronger, wages, who need more benefits. Like, I've seen that. I've heard from comrades, Teamster comrades that like, the UPS contract was concessionary and UPS is still not delivering. So it's like, even if you just look at his leadership of the union, there are examples. And even with the Coors strike, I know that they did not get what they deserved. And like, so again, yeah, that doesn't make him much worse than these other union leaders. That's fair. But like anybody who's rolling with, Charlie Kirk, and that goes for Gavin Newsom too. Like, so I'm not fucking, picking on him because he's a conservative or he's, whatever. But like, don't go to the Republican convention, which is literally just all these, mega donors, these billionaires, and promise them that you're a friend to them, that you're, that they literally thrive. Their whole MO, everything that they spend money on is to disenfranchise working people, primarily working people of color who are the most exploited. And so like, yeah, I respect that maybe, he's not like a hateful racist guy explicitly. Like, he could be decent with us, but it's like I've heard that about Charlie too. I don't give a fuck that he was a good dad and whatever. He didn't deserve to die, but he sure as hell was making it a lot harder for working people, specifically of color, to get by and to be respected and appreciated. So, like, sure, like, you're right in that, he might not be like, I don't have, examples on mind like I do for a lot of people, in
Yeah.
terms of his shit. But like, the reality is, and again, that's why I'm saying it's the libs too, because I don't want to hear about like fucking Kamala, or how it's so important, how it's going to change working people's lives, transform our country if we get her or another fucking establishment Dem into place. So people like Sean, and people like the leadership of SEIU and all these big unions broadly are, I would say, similarly antagonistic to working people of color. It's just that Sean is openly hanging with people who, openly espouse that shit. But me, I talk
think
about
he
this
had.
shit all
Didn't
the
he have
fucking
Dana
time.
White? I think he had Dana White on his show too. And
Oh, yeah,
then
the
they were
billionaire.
they were trying to, because I know the
Mhm.
UFC fighters had
Yeah,
a big
yeah, yeah, yeah.
lawsuit they just won.
Hell
But I
yeah.
know they've been trying to unionize for a very
Yeah.
long time. And he doesn't want to let it happen. I don't know why, dude.
Yeah.
The NFL is perfectly fine in their
Yeah.
union. The
Right.
NBA's union,
They make
baseball's
billions.
union.
Yeah. You beat me.
Yeah.
I was about to say, well, he's doing it for his bottom line, but you're right. You can get by just fine with union athletes and
Yeah, just
performers.
looking after
Yep.
your fighters, dude. I mean,
Yep.
don't you think your fighters would fight better knowing that, hey, dude, if something happens in this ring, I know I got my medicals covered.
Yep.
I think Kevin Lee, one of the fighter, he used to be a UFC fighter. I don't know if he's still
Yeah.
with UFC. I don't think he is no more.
Yeah.
But he posted that he got a hospital bill after a fight because he had to get a CT scan and all that. It was like $35,000 that he got the bill from. Going
Yeah,
back
and
to
they're taking no, but that's
yeah.
so real, brother. Just because they take such a physical, like, there's so much hazard in that line of work. Yeah, I've heard
Mhm.
those stories,
And it's the
and it
minimum, and
breaks
it's
my
minimal
fucking
pay.
heart. And it breaks my fucking heart. You're right. You're right. And it's fucking greed is what it boils down to, because it's like that's why they fight so hard for any kind of, or like people like Starbucks, or the company like Starbucks, et cetera. That they fight so hard to prevent any union activity, because they are just fucking greedy. And like, so yeah, they'll spend millions, they'll go way into the red or whatever to just, make an example. But the
Union
reality is
bust.
that the tide's turning, man. And that's common sense. And I love to see the WNBA folks standing up and just, yeah, more union pride. I know that, like, nationally, our already abysmal unionization rate of like 11% or whatever, we're like one of the lowest in the world. Nationally, the trend is down for this year, except in California. So
Mhm.
shout out to us. But like, there's definitely no lack of interest in unionizing, and so yeah, that's a no brainer, to support folks that are organizing. I hear you, brother.
Going back to Teamster Mobilize, I heard they're not invited.
No, talk to me. Educate me, brother. Hmm. 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 Wow. Yeah. Okay. No. But I hope you get some of those folks on. I know we hang out with them, in some of the similar circles, like Jose, right? And then some other folks. But like, I saw them at, I don't know if it was Labor Notes or whatever. There was a video, speaking of Sean, like last year, where it looked like he was a fucking CEO fleeing them. They were just trying to talk to him, ask him some questions, and he like fled into, what do they call that? Not a caravan, but like a couple Escalades or whatever were parked out front, and he had his suit, and he was like, no, I'm not going to talk to y'all, fuck y'all, basically, and I was just like, wow, just lean into that, aesthetic. Why don't you just, no interest in good, good. I hope he comes on. I hope he, speaks for himself. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 It's a lot easier to do this kind of.
And then I went to the Teamsters to send him like to see if he had an email or something, or send him a note.
Right.
And you know what it says at the bottom? You have reached your daily limit, like to like send him something. I'm like, I never even sent anything. And I was like, did I send something on accident or did I click some? So the next day, same thing. And then basically it says you reached your daily limit on like being able to send them messages. I'm like, I never send no messages.
Yeah.
So then the next step, I got to write a fucking handwritten letter and then mail it to them, but they won't accept anything besides United States Post Office and UPS.
Wow.
So I can't send it FedEx, Amazon. I don't think Amazon does there's personal stuff. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just fucking write them a handwritten letter, dude. Like, dear Stan.
No, that's it. Like, documenting this process is everything, because it's so much easier to call out the hypocrisy of union leaders than it is, company folks or even politicians.
I never thought of it that way, but
because they're supposed to, inherently, their only job is to represent, their coworkers, theoretically, their members, and so when they, literally, or in your case, figuratively, turn their backs and make it really hard to, connect with them, it's pretty gross. I think it's on its face just pretty gross, and it's sad because it gives the union busters fuel. That's the bottom line, is that like that giant ass industry is only bolstered every time a union leader turns their back and does not take seriously rank and file concerns. And so, like, Minnesota, right, there was a strike there that was recently won, and I heard it was positive, but I was like on every fucking post saying, until it's fucking ratified, I don't want to hear all this congratulations, because that's the shit that business friendly bargaining teams and union leadership do all the fucking time with the media, where they make it seem like like they did with the core strike, like they did with UPS, where it's like, oh yeah, this is this amazing thing. And I know that Teamsters are still fighting for the heat protections and other things that were promised in that fucking contract. So it's like, yeah, it's really gross when we don't have union leaders that are willing to listen to rank and file concerns.
I know there's some ACs that started rolling out. I seen one on social media. The problem was with that contract, when our contract ended, UPS was smart about it, because I knew that they knew it was coming. The AC argument, they had ordered already a whole fleet of new cars. So that kind of fucked everything up, because now you gotta wait for the other cars to get older and then start replacing them. So it's gonna be a while for us to get them. Like, fuck, I wish I had one. I just went back to work. First day back at work, I had to take some time off. Went back to work on Tuesday, and it was like the fucking hottest day of the year for my area. But it was like 95 plus humidity. Was fucking horrible. And then it rained, I think, on Thursday. It rained on Thursday, and then the sun came out, and then you could see the wet ground evaporate, and it got so hot and humid I couldn't even breathe. It was horrible. And that was when I was like, shit, dude, I wish I had fucking AC, dude. Like, this is, as you get older, it gets harder. Like, we got guys that are like 70. There's a driver that's 70 years old, still working. I'm like, I don't even know how the fuck you get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, if we heard Sean telling those stories and explaining how he's like fighting the good.
Oh yeah, he just had a podcast. Did you see that one? He just had a podcast. He had a driver on.
No, but I'll check that out, because I want to hear that, and I celebrate that if that's what's happening. But it's like, I should not be hearing about union people at fucking, like you acknowledge, at Republican conventions where literally Republicans could not be more opposed to. And I don't give a fuck about Josh Hawley. That's another fucking crazy thing that Sean interacted with that piece of shit that's cosplaying as somebody who cares about working people. And like, Tucker Carlson's doing that. Like, these are people that don't actually care about working people that are doing this shit as a grift. But like, yeah, if Sean's willing to show up more and in good faith engage with rank and file folks, which he hasn't done, with Teamsters Mobilized specifically, then that's one thing, and we can put aside some of the association stuff. But that's not what we're hearing. That's not what we're seeing. And I'm speaking on behalf of my comrades who are Teamsters right now.
Do you know Richard Hooker?
No.
He's the president out of Philadelphia. I think it's local 893, if I'm correct. If I'm wrong, I apologize.
I'm pulling it up. Thank you.
Yeah, look at him. He's from Philadelphia. He's the head guy, president, Richard Hooker Jr.
Awesome.
What local is it? Can you look it up right now?
Yeah, I'm trying right now.
My phone's on. Oh, okay. That's been a while since.
I'll be Jamie here since we're both former.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Okay, so let's pull that up. I turned off the
John
before.
Palmer.
Okay, so Richard Hooker, 893 Teamsters. Come on, there's some author that's clogging it up here. Okay, it'd be easier if I was using Google, but like you said, they are very complicit. Okay, Secretary, Treasurer, Principal Officer, Teamsters Local 623, Vice President.
Okay, 623. All right. Yeah, he's been on the show. He's actually running against Sean.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's running against Sean. He's running. It's called the Fearless.
Yes.
Fearless Party.
Okay, I love it. Thank you. That's
Fearless something. I'll send you his link on Instagram. But I reached out to him because I was following him on Facebook, and I really he was Jose Negrete would send me a lot of YouTube videos, and he was on a couple podcasts, a group podcast, and I liked the way he spoke.
Yeah.
And I liked the way he was speaking, and I was like, you know what, let me reach out to him. And then Jose goes, "Oh, he's not gonna come on, dude. He's too busy." And I'm like, dude, watch this. And I sent him some good messages, and he reached back to me. And then he came on, and we did it over the phone. And then he's coming. He's making his rounds. He's already traveling. I'll send you. I think he's in Texas right now, but he's supposed to come out to California in October. Because we have our election for our local 952 October 9th. So he's supposed to come by sometime after that, and he's gonna make his round. So but he's gonna come on the show. He when he comes to California, he's gonna come on physically, which would be cool. You know what I mean? I like him. I think he's cool.
Yeah.
But I get it, dude. Like, I get it once you get to that top spot, but you still got him. Hey, hold on. Gotta yell at these dogs. All right, sorry about that. My dog started barking. When you get to that top spot, you still got to find time for your rank and file, dude. You got to find time for, even if it's a 10-minute interview on a podcast where there's Teamsters and they're talking about you.
Yep.
You know, I mean, 10 minutes can make a difference from a vote to yes or a vote no.
Yeah, and I remember watching his rise. Like, I used to listen to this Work Stoppage podcast, and they just cover like strikes every week. And yeah, they're a good pod. I had a falling out with some of the hosts, so I don't really plug them, but they were important in my labor journey. And like I watched his rise, and I remember hearing about how the Hoffa old guard of Teamsters leadership locked the doors, when Sean got voted in, when the previous reform slate that Sean was a part of, or whatever rank and file slate, when they took office, and I was like, oh damn, they're gonna shake things up, and they're gonna really but yeah, it's like power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, or whatever. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain. So yeah, it's just, again, that is real. But if we are constantly like the homie Jose Negrete and this gentleman Richard Hooker, it's like we just have to constantly be fighting. I don't know if you saw the movie Devil's Advocate. It's a ways back, but like at the end of that fucking movie. No, it's Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, but it's like at the end, they like beat the devil or whatever. Spoiler alert, but they beat him, and then like he's the reporter at the end, and so he's gonna weasel his way back in, and so it's like it's just a never ending, just like we talked about at the beginning, to kind of bring it full circle. It's like just like being healthy or having a relationship or whatever. It's just organizing is a never ending process, and sadly we can't rest on our laurels and think that like leadership is ever going to just be advocating for us in the right way. Hopefully they are, and we always extend that like benefit of the doubt, like we're doing right now with Richard Hooker. But it's like when he's in office, if that happens, then we're going to be doing with him. And that's what I say about people like AOC and whoever else, because they're like, oh my God, well, you can't second guess them. You can't whatever. It's like, no, it's okay. You can like somebody or, think they're all right, and you can hold them accountable. That's healthy. That's, a democracy. That's a good, a model for society, not this like worship bullshit where it's like, oh, if you love somebody or you love something, you can't question it or challenge it. Like the homie, this is kind of a tangent, but the homie Tarek Raouf right now, former Apple retail worker, Palestinian comrade, they were arrested this weekend as part of the protests about Apple's complicity in the Palestinian and Congolese genocides. But they talk about this with Apple. They're like, I can love a company because they grew up, steeped in the lore like I did and whatever. And they're like, and I can critique it. I can challenge its decisions. And it's the same with unions or anything else. So I think that that's a deeper thing that we need to wrestle with, is just this idea that like, oh, we can't question things or challenge things. It's like, no, that's healthy. Like we can be member, and so that's why, and that was the thing I appreciated about work stoppage, that they kept saying like, yeah, fuck Sean when he's, misbehaving, so to speak, or doing bad shit. But it's like, do not turn your back on the 2 million Teamsters that are, members of that union and that are doing great things.
It is 1.3 million.
1.3. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, you're good.
From Palestine, but 1.3. Thank you. So, yeah.
Used to be 1.4. I don't know. Now he's been saying 1.3, but I could have sworn I was saying this years ago is 1.4. So I don't know where we lost 100,000, but it's 1.3 now.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. What else is going on, man? You got anything else going on?
Well, it's spooky season. So we're decorating and we're and I'm making my conservative haters or whatever cringe because I'm in the choir at my Catholic church and I'm proud and joyful in that. So you caught me just a couple hours post mass, and that's a big part of our lives, my wife and I. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, but they're in my comments, man. They're like, oh, you can't advocate for these policies and call yourself a Catholic or a Christian or whatever. Like, fuck you, man. I'm like, no, I'm right here, trying to make life better for all of us. But if that makes you see,
you can't please everybody. I mean, I had to stop posting certain things on my Instagram because I would post things that to me were funny, but they're political, and people would start sending me messages, dude, and like they want to like argue, and I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and type on my phone, and I'm like, no, I'm cool,
it's
dude.
Not healthy. And that just never ends. It's like they need to touch grass, they need to get out and connect with people. That's again, like you were saying, that's why this kind of shit's so important to try to like dig deeper than these platforms allow, where it's just these little interactions that are designed to incubate conflict so that again, back to the beginning, we're just yelling at each other instead of at the boss, at the billionaire that's
we're getting hit from all directions. I mean, there's bot farms. Have you ever seen that on Instagram? There's like they're showing a video and there's like more than thousands of phones and they're all plugged into some big old contraption and they're just constantly just shooting rage baiting and negative and racial shit. And you got that, and then you got Russia's doing it, China's doing it, probably India's doing it. India's not doing it. India is calling you directly and saying you owe money. Or we sent you too much money. Have you ever seen those those hacking on Instagram on YouTube? There's this guy, he goes out and he catches them. He'll backdoor them. He'll do computer stuff. Like he'll call them, and then they say, okay, they'll get access to his computer, but it's a fake computer, and so it shows that they access to his bank account, and they watch this and they transfer money, but instead of give him 500, they'll give him 500,000, and then he'll go, oh, I messed up. You need to go to the bank and get the money out and give it back to me. But then here's the kicker. You got to go to Target and get gift cards. I don't need one. You need to do it through gift cards. And like, I don't even know how people fall for this shit, but people fall for it. No, so anyways, he pretends he's one of those people getting caught, like getting abused. And then he ends up backdooring them. And then like, he just messes with them. And it's like, it goes on for like 3, 4, 5 hours.
I've heard of this guy. No, I love him. Yeah.
There's a couple of I'll send you a couple of his videos, but he's funny. Yeah, dude. Now it's pretty crazy. But you got so much, people, from other, groups that are causing diversity.
Yep.
And then we got politicians that are corrupt, and they don't work for us. They work for the super PACs, or the lobbyists, like look at Mark Rubio. How many times has he been in Israel? He was just in Israel again, standing next to Netanyahu, kissing the wall, dude. Like, man, they own his ass, dude. You could just see it on his face too.
Yep.
Remember when Trump was yelling at Zelensky?
Yeah.
Dude, he was yelling at him, dude, and then Lance started yelling at him like he was a little kid, dude. And then Marco Rubio just sitting there. He just had this smut look on his face, dude. Like, fuck, man, to just sell out, dude, and just have all the money in the world, but you just sold out, dude, to just fuck over American people. Must be the most ashamed thing.
Amen.
Next to giving up your ass in prison. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man,
I can't.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But so what else we got going on, man? We're at over an hour.
I know we're hanging out here. Also, I want to say you look great, brother. I love the beard. I love the whole look, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, man. I lost. I was off work for 3 months, and I lost close to 30 pounds. But then I'll gain it back on the weekend. But I'm back at work, and let me tell you, going to the gym. I was going to the gym, and then I was walking at night.
Yeah.
And I ended up thinking like, I should be good. And man, it was tough. The first day was tough.
Yeah.
They gave me a breather the next, so sore, and then I went to work Thursday and Friday. So it's gonna take a couple weeks to get my legs under me.
I hear you, man.
I got in that stupid TRT.
Okay. Yeah. So
Effect that was really problematic was
oh shit. Okay.
Stroke, blood clots because your heart isn't pumping correctly. So I had to get hospitalized twice with that. And so the second time I said, that's it. I go, that's the only thing that I could figure that, was the only thing doing was the steroid. So that happened. My testosterone dropped. So I had to just do a hard reset. I feel better now. I'm doing, I got an appointment with another doctor because my testosterone is a shot. It just, as you get older, you lose it. They said drinking causes your testosterone to get lower. Also, you're eating, age. But thing is, at work, dude, I walk like 10 miles a day, and it's strenuous walking. It's like $1 million homes in Tustin that are like the driveway is like a 90-degree. And
wow.
I mean, it's pretty strenuous walking, but like, man, it's like just feeling sluggish, and it's just a horrible feeling. So I'm back at work, so everything's good. We got elections coming up, so we got 3 slates this time around. So it's going to be interesting to see. I had all 3 slates on, so got to know all 3 of them.
That's awesome, man.
So we'll see what's going on with that, and then who do I got? Do I got somebody next weekend? Oh yeah, I got the organizing monster.
Yes, I love them.
Yeah. I got them coming on the show. So
you got both.
I don't know if we'll.
Chris and
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I got to call Juan. I got to call him Monday.
That's it, Juan. I'm sorry. Thank you, Chris and Juan.
Yeah, Juan.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Chris and Juan. So I haven't met Chris. I've been talking to Juan. Yeah. So I got to see if if they want to do it like YouTube or if they want to come down here. But they're in San Diego.
I'm so happy to hear that. They're amazing. Chris was like there for me early in my journey because I'm a Philly boy. Richard Hooker, he was supportive of me, coming out here and trying to find, work and all that, way back when. So no, I got a lot of love for him. And we were at, the California Progressive something or other, last year doing a panel with like 10 people, but it was fun, man. I love them. They do amazing work. I'm fucking stoked. That's going to be insane. Yeah. I'm eagerly anticipating that one.
Yeah. I got to start getting all my research, start, getting my questions ready, and it'll be good. They get a lot of big time people on their show, dude. They got a really good show. Yeah,
they're doing great.
I mean, that's my next. Yeah. So I got them going on next week. Get ready for that, and then that's it. Let me see. Trying to hit up my fights on Friday. Buddy of mine, Coach Pot. He's a lot of his students that have been on my show. Yeah. A couple of them are fighting. Friday. So me and
Shit.
James might go out there, do go
Oh, that's
live
so
and
cool.
carry the stick, and
Oh,
then
man.
I think Sunday we're gonna do the show. So Sunday we'll have Saturday out, then Sunday we'll do
That's
the show in
fucking
the morning.
awesome.
So busy week. My son's on bye week, so there's no football this week. So it'll be a busy week. I'm just like I said, I was off for 3 months, and
Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm, mm. Yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah. Well,
talking
you
about
don't let
the
that on at all. You make me feel very welcome and safe and all that. So no, I think you're a fucking pro, brother.
yeah,
I didn't feel any of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, you look, by the way, you're looking good too.
Thank
I
you.
can't see your face, the cameras, but yeah, I did notice your skin complexion was a lot. You were
I'm
glowing,
working
dude.
hard. I'm working hard. I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
Are you
brother.
lost any weight?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going on like 30 pounds, something like that.
Oh, wow. How do you
Since
feel?
the beginning of the year at least. Amazing. But yeah, the big thing was the alcohol. Because I was already doing
Mm,
like a lot of cardio, which is obviously the key. But I love the strength shit too. I do want to say one fucking thing. I at the gym every Friday I wear my Ice Out of Ontario shirt,
mm,
That's where I'm at
mm,
is Ontario. And this one dude on Friday this week, he was like a Latino gentleman or whatever, but he was like, I got ice in my
mm,
veins or whatever. Like he and his buddies were like laughing, joking or whatever. I'm like, oh God, like there is that vibe,
mm,
but even with that, I would say that just going to the gym, like having a strength practice, has just fucking made me really happy in my body. Like, because I was always doing the cardio, I was always trying to like get leaner or whatever. But like the strength shit, it's just fun when you're like, racking up those weights and everything. Like,
mm.
yeah,
Cling,
yeah, yeah.
cling,
Yep,
cling.
yep, yep. I'm all about the
Nice.
ASMR. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so
You should get a shirt that says ice in the back.
yeah.
And then so when people see it, they're like, fucking ice. And then you turn around, they go up to you and they turn around. It says ice baby. Get it? Ice baby.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, but yeah, let's talk a little bit about ice before we get out of it. We're at an
Okay,
hour
yeah,
15. We get like
we
10
didn't talk
minutes.
about it at
We
all.
didn't really
Let's do
touch
it.
base on ice. People
Yep.
are saying ice is, uh, that they're getting all the people that were all part of
Yeah.
uh human trafficking.
Right.
They're
Gangs.
part of a bigger people that are working, that they're coming up and getting, or even Hopi Depot. They're getting paid, but they're still paying the human traffickers back their payments. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know is it's why are they wearing masks? They say, oh, to protect their identities. And how come the cops don't wear masks then? You know what I mean? They're out there all the time. Like why these masks? It's just I don't know. It's you got to do. There's due process in this world. To say that every person they're getting is a criminal, like I'm all for getting rid of the criminals, dude. The child rapists, the murderers, the thieves. I'm all for that, dude. But when you're seeing them they're pulling them away, and then the camera guy's there, and you can see the lawnmower still going. The guy's mowing the company lawns, and they're pulling them away, or they're pulling them away out of their house, and the kids are there, and the wife's there. Like, dude, you're destroying families. Are you there? Oh, I think my
Oh, I got
phone might have
muted. I got
died.
muted. No. Can
Oh,
you hear me?
oh,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought my phone. Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
was just saying, like, I'm with you 100%. Yeah, it's insane. I saw one, speaking of the health stuff too. Like at my fucking on my morning run, it was like 5 in the morning. I'm at running by the Chevron, and yeah, there was like people taking shit, these masked ICE thugs taking shit from some guy's car. And then like yeah, more recently there was like a whole operation with like Riverside PD, even though we're in Ontario, and that seemed like vaguely ice. It's like yeah, like you said, we don't fucking know what's going on because they're masked and because there's no due process. We can't even begin to ascertain whether or not anything they're
They're just
saying is true.
disappearing.
Yeah. And we do know something though, brother. We do know that Geo Group and Core Civic, the two biggest immigrant detention and also private prison,
Mhm.
companies, they are notorious for having, just abysmal conditions, including like basically, slave labor systems, and then not to mention like the lack of hygiene, the lack of nutrition, the lack of like the sexual harassment, the physical, abuse. There's just so much that's documented about these companies that Trump is giving these giant, new contracts to house all these folks that they're kidnapping. And yeah, I mean, it's just horrible that it's happening. And there's just so many folks that are just hardworking, whether they're
Mhm.
elders or they're younger, whatever their gender. It's like for the most part, and I'm getting to meet a lot of people. It's like for the most part, these are just great hardworking, Americans, neighbors, and like, yeah, this idea that they are responsible for the, you know, economic struggles that we're all facing as working people, it's dog shit.
Mhm.
And it's intended to distract us from the reality that Trump and his friends are the ones doing it. So there's every reason for them to keep vilifying. And, now they have a giant new budget. The Supreme Court just ruled that they're allowed to do basically these racist kidnappings out here in Southern California. We had a case that was, going on, and it's still being appealed and so on. But like, it's just absurd the level of, yeah, uh, you know, disrespect for the Constitution and for due process. But like, I don't know if you've heard of this Convention of States thing in the Shiny Happy People show. They were talking about it. It's literally a project of a lot of these right wing billionaires that they are trying to rewrite the Constitution. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, they're doing it through their actions with this ICE stuff because they're just completely, acting as if there is no due process. And then if they're, like Trump did, right, with those workers that you talked about, if they get called out or if they, get sued or whatever, then they'll, address that later. But that's like a speeding ticket. It's just like the way that employers, treat workers, right, where they can just do wage theft, they can do these horrible conditions, and then they know that labor law is gonna, take care of them. That there's not going to be, an ability for workers to fight back, and that's why, like, I'm not an advocate for political violence, but I am also not an advocate for business friendly unionism and these contracts that don't allow us to strike. And so I, in the spirit of, again, that work stoppage show, I am all about, wildcat strikes, quote unquote illegal strikes, and militant labor unionism, and working class organizing, because we are getting, like you've been saying too, like we are really getting screwed by these, fuckers that are saying that immigrants and whatnot are the problem, and it's just not the case at all. Like, undocumented immigrants alone paid 3.5 billion in
Mhm.
federal taxes,
Mhm.
and
Taxes,
hundreds of
then they
million in
can't claim.
California, and hundreds of
Yep.
millions in taxes in California in one fucking year. So like, just,
Mhm.
it's like people like my parents included, like, don't know these stats, and they just listen to, shit from people they
Fox
trust that are being
News.
fed, yeah, but or distilled, because like, they don't watch the
Mhm.
news, they're libertarian, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but they're getting fed this shit, and the reality is that like immigrants are what have always made America great. So like, this overt kidnapping terrorist, I would say, campaign that Trump's waging needs to stop. And I'm happy about the win that we got in California this week, where in a couple months at least, ICE are not going to be allowed to wear masks. And so, that's something. But it's like Gavin Newsom doesn't give a fuck, or he'd be using his army. He'd be, working with Karen Bass and others to be using
Mhm.
their army, the LAPD and other, police groups, to stop these violent kidnappings that are often ending in people dying. There have been 3 deaths so far, in the course of, the pursuit and whatnot. And most recently, it was literally ICE shooting somebody who was running. But they, yeah, yeah. So it's like, no, 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 we're done with this. It's fuck ICE all the way. Yeah, yeah. Hit me. Mm.
In Denver. Passed. You know, that didn't make the stage.
Right.
And also, I know they're making a big deal. I think his funeral's today. There was a big deal, and that I forgot they voted in, and they voted in. I don't know if it's the Senate or they voted in like they're going to give a Charlie Kirk Day. But you know, we don't talk. I mean, I don't understand how this is more important than a politician. Her name was. It's the paperwork over there. What's her name? Hold on real quick. That paperwork I needed is the only one that flew over the table. Melissa Hortman. She was gunned down and killed in her home in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. The guy impersonated an officer, and he shot and wounded Senator John Hoffman.
Yep.
And his wife. Was this two different ones? Yeah.
No, that was
Okay, there's two. Melissa Hartman. She was gunned down and killed in her home.
Yeah.
And then he also shot and wounded State Senator John Hoffman and his wife earlier that morning. He was later captured and charged with murder. I mean, politicians are known, not known, but things do happen. They do get, gunned down and shot. But to glorify someone who I didn't agree with everything he talked about.
Right.
The way he talked about black people, like I don't get it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks what happened, but he said it. He said about the Second Amendment. There's going to be some killings, and I'm okay with that in defense of keeping my Second Amendment right. So, once again, it's sad it happened.
Yeah.
I hate to see anybody shot, but he had his right for freedom of speech. Now we could argue, did he have hate speech?
Right.
Did he talk and to cause violence and to stir people up?
Yeah.
I could tell you this: to think Donald Trump has caused unity, you're crazy. He has caused more division than I think every president that I've known since I've been alive.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was saying that he is actually an expert. I wasn't joking earlier. Is just dividing people. So the opposite of a unifying figure.
But other than that, man, anything else before we get out of here?
No, I appreciate you, brother. This was an honor again, and I'm looking forward to hopefully hanging soon, man.
Yeah, we'll hang soon,
Sorry,
dude. We'll get together soon.
In person.
No, it's fine, dude. Well, you live what there in Eastville, right?
Ontario.
Eastville, Texas. Oh no, I don't want to get your exact the coordinates. All right. We'll link up soon. I'll give you a call as soon as it's uploaded, and then and I'll send you the links, or where the links are. And once again, thank you for coming on the show. To everybody listening, thank you for tuning in to another episode. I love you guys. Love your neighbor. Spread love, not hate.
Man.
Okay. And let's. There's no need for violence, dude. We can all have an opinion to talk about and respect everyone's beliefs, respect everyone's opinion, dude. At the end of the day, you don't walk in their shoes, you don't walk in mine. So let's just show love and peace and compassion, dude. Because life is short, life is valuable, and there's so much suffering going around the world, dude. So much suffering, and they want us looking left and right and fighting each other when we should be fighting the people at the top that are greedy and just want to take, and they're the ones that need to be, held accountable, and with the laws and regulations and unionizing, we can beat them. All right.
Hell
so I'm out of here. I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.
Love ya.